The Pushpa franchise has quickly become a cultural phenomenon, and with the release of Pushpa 2, The Rule, fans eagerly awaited the continuation of its intense, action packed saga. One of the most anticipated elements of the film was its soundtrack, following the immense success of the first film's songs. With Devi Sri Prasad returning as the composer, Pushpa 2's music had a high bar to reach. So, does it live up to the hype? Let's take a closer look at how the soundtrack shapes the movie's atmosphere and contributes to its storytelling. The blend of grit and melody. From the first few beats of Pushpa 2's soundtrack, it's clear that Devi Sri Prasad has once again tapped into the gritty, raw energy of the narrative while introducing new musical elements to reflect the growth of both the characters and the story. The overall tone of the soundtrack blends intense action-driven beats with a few moments of emotional depth, successfully mirroring the duality of Pushpa's world, one that is both brutal and emotionally complex. A diverse range of tracks. One of the standout features of Pushpa 2's music is its diversity. While the first film leaned heavily on folk and rustic beats, the sequel introduces a more layered composition with influences from various genres, ranging from high energy, mass appeal tracks to more introspective melodies. The songs don't just aim to entertain, they enhance the viewer's connection to the evolving journey of the protagonist, Pushpa Raj. Devi Sri Prasad continues to masterfully blend traditional sounds with modern rhythms, but Pushpa 2 takes this fusion a step further. While Oo Antava from the first film remains an anthem, the sequel introduces songs that are just as catchy, but more nuanced, echoing the darker paths the characters traverse. Some tracks on the soundtrack truly stand out, each offering a distinct flavor that plays a pivotal role in the movie's narrative. Peelings serves as a pulsating, adrenaline-charged number that promises to take center stage during the high-octane moments of the film, while Kissik and Suseki presents a softer, emotional, resonant piece that tugs at the heartstrings, offering a contrast to the intensity of the action. The integration of folk instruments alongside synthesized beats creates a sonic landscape that feels both familiar and fresh, keeping the audience on their toes. While the songs take much of the limelight, the background score in Pushpa 2 deserves a mention for how it subtly but powerfully enhances the film's emotional moments. The scores add layers of tension to the more dramatic sequences, elevating the stakes in every confrontation. Whether it's a high-intensity fight scene or a quiet moment of reflection, the background score perfectly complements the film's visual storytelling. A step up from the first film. Comparing Pushpa 2's music to its predecessor is inevitable. While the first film's soundtrack was a game-changer in its own right, Pushpa 2 builds on that foundation with more refined soundscapes and a wider range of musical styles. The folk-inspired beats remain, but there's a greater incorporation of electronic and cinematic elements, which work well with the larger-than-life atmosphere of the sequel. The music feels more mature, more polished, matching the film's overall tone of power and struggle. In conclusion, Pushpa 2's soundtrack is a solid, dynamic work that enhances the film's high-stakes drama while keeping the audience's feet tapping. Devi Sri Prasad has once again proven his ability to blend commercial appeal with cinematic depth, offering songs that are both catchy and meaningful. While the soundtrack stays true to the energy that made the first film's music so memorable, it also takes bold strides toward a more complex, varied sound. Ultimately, the music in Pushpa 2 is not just an accessory to the film, It's a driving force that fuels its intensity and emotional depth. Whether you're a fan of mass tracks or deep atmospheric melodies, the soundtrack of Pushpa 2 has something for everyone.
La 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 la